Hello, this is Farsid3Jake. I am currently doing post commentary simply because when I was recording this episode, I forgot to check to make certain that my mic was actually not muted. Um, yeah, so this is Kerbal Space Program. I've played it in the past, and I've recently gotten re-interested in it, and more or less it was more I came up with ideas for what I want to do in it more than anything. And what we're looking at here is probably one of my very first orbital craft that I've made in probably a couple of months. Yeah, it's just been maybe a month actually since I last actually really played it at all. And there's always been issues with me with making episodes with it, mostly because my computer, I have to make very specific adjustments to it, and I have a tendency because of the gaps in the release dates and whatnot, and the fact that my computer never accepts just a straight up update. It always makes me download the full game again and use that as a way of updating, so I have to actually reconfigure all my settings every single time. Wow, that was loud. So yeah, I'm launching now. This was a really rocky launch at the beginning. This design for the launch vehicle is actually capable of getting up around a 300 kilometer, not 300, maybe 300, 300, somewhere like that. It's either a 3 kilometer or 300 kilometer orbit. I can't remember. It would have to be 300, yeah, or 30. We'll see when we get up there, huh? Wow. Yeah, so I woke up this morning and checked and noticed, oh, there's no sound from me speaking. Oops. So, yeah. Ideas that I have for going forward with this is I want to actually explore all the various planetary bodies within the Kerbal system. Am I going to be outright looking for like Easter eggs or anything like that? I don't think so. If I happen to come across some, that would be awesome. But I'm not going to be going with the intention of just finding those. Mostly I'm interested in just kind of looking at the terrain gen and just kind of looking at the way things are right now. I just want to explore and build cool looking rockets and yeah, so yeah, so we've got the rocket going at 14,000 meters, so 14 kilometers. Definitely 300 kilometer orbit then. We're going to be staging the boosters here shortly. I was going for... I wanted to make a 2-seat orbital capsule with docking capabilities and some sort of built-in engines, but that didn't look like it was... I wanted to not make it look just like a straight-on rocket. I don't know. But I'm liking this design. I've already got ideas for how to make it actually a little bit better. An updated version, so to speak. Mostly because I've seen how good this one handles. I want to make a that's just slightly, ever so slightly bigger and a little bit more capable. I think the next episode that I release, probably, I'm going to hope to say next week, is going to be a lunar lander with maybe a rover or moon buggy attached to it somehow. I'm not entirely certain how I would go about doing that, but I know that I'm going to want to explore the lunar surface, and it would be easier to do that if I had some sort of vehicle to do so. On top of all that, I'm going to have to bring Jeb home Maybe. I'm actually kind of considering using this vehicle as the return capsule and just sending up another Kerbal in the lander capsule and doing that, seeing as how after all is said and done here, we've got this thing in a nice stable orbit. It could easily come in, pick up the lander, and then jet out to the moon. I don't know if it has enough fuel on its own to do that. Ooh, that could be tricky. Wow. If we had, just take a little bit of planning. That's all. So basically, yeah. Other project plans I have is I do want to make a more docked together spacecraft. Probably something, yeah, there. See, you can see we're going all the way up to 125 kilometers there. Yeah. So, and yes, I did name it the Phoenix. Mostly because this is first time playing this in a long while for me, and it's kind of like the reimagining of my space program, restarting off from scratch and everything. So, yeah. So, wow, I actually talked a little bit more during live commentary. Oh, there's the solar panels opening up, and yeah, showing off that I have lights actually added to it, and I even added the RCS thrusters because my first test launch of this did not have RCS, so I was kind of upset that I'd forgotten the RCS thrusters. And I was showing that it's got docking capabilities, and basically it's a two-seat craft. Yeah, already said that. Even the booster stage, or the 2-orbit stage, still has fuel left, even though it's basically in a stable orbit already. I think I said this in the main video. I think actually this orbital stage is just a little too powerful for such a small craft. So actually kind of wasting fuel, especially on this launch. I wasted a bit of fuel because it was an unsteady launch. I actually need to remember to add the launch clamps to this so that it's not so rocky at the beginning. Other things I could possibly add to it is maybe an extra engine on the orbital stage itself. I think though that 2 is pretty good for just the orbital stage. I don't know how well it'll handle with another craft docked to it. Probably not overly great. But actually, those little ABD engines there are really powerful for what they are. They are designed as probe engines as far as the game states. However, I think that they do pretty well as a small orbital craft's engines. Yeah. I'd even be so far as to say that they might even work for a really small lander, to be honest. In fact, they might actually be used on my lander. I don't know. I haven't even come up with a full design yet for it. I just have some basic ideas of what I want it to be capable of doing. And yeah, this is where I actually talked about what I had in plans. Yeah. I had an idea of possibly trying to explore the 2 inner planets, Moho, I believe, or Eve, and come on, mouse over the other one. Do it. Moho. Hey, I got it right. Cool. Yeah. I'm going to take this time to apologize for not putting out videos as regularly. I plan on trying. I've even come up with like a internal schedule that I can use. I don't want to state it outwards because then I could mess up and miss a date and everyone would be all upset. that sort of thing. And I'm doing this mostly in my free time and for fun. So if I stop having interest in a game, I don't want to be kept in a deadlock of, oh, you have to play that game because you have a scheduled video that you have to put up. And if I don't like the game, it's not going to be fun for me to do. And this is fun first, videos second, I guess. Making the videos themselves is fun for me because it's challenging to me. It's kind of like a game itself to make a good video, which this one probably isn't. If you like it, hit that like button. I really am not good at post commentary, if you can't tell. The reason why I'm doing post commentary here is because I actually liked this launch. I like the launches that don't start out perfect, that don't go straight up the right way and kind of have errors and little mess ups and whatnot. And yeah, we're getting close to the end here. This one's a short episode, and that's another thing. I think with Kerbal Space Program, more than any of the other series, I'm going to probably stick to do the episodes to the mission. So most of my episodes are going to be the mission episodes only, not so much the design episodes. If you want to see my design process, I might take the time to record a video or two with me actually designing a spacecraft and release that as a separate video. Mostly because my design process is basically I build small bits of it, test them, build more parts to it, test that. And there is actually some testing in there, even though I sometimes forget things like RCS up to the last minute because I don't bother to test RCS half the time, especially on such a small craft. The RCS for this thing is mostly meant for docking more than anything. Yeah, it's not a circular orbit. I don't take the time to really circularize it. It's mostly left like that, and got plenty of fuel for that too. So I'm happy about that. Jeb's happy about that. Everyone's happy. Here I am figuring out where Jeb's at, because I think throughout a good chunk of this, I actually thought there were still 2 Kerbals in here, because in one of my test launches I had actually specified for that to be filled seating and everything, and I forgot that changes when you revert back to the VAB or clear launch pad, like I think I did at one point too. Yeah, I'm actually very happy with this design. I think it's unique enough, and I kind of like using some of the aircraft parts for spacecraft, like the small straps. And this has been Farsid3Jake. Have fun.